I'm here today to talk to you about staying on. We can't hear you. Go ahead, yes. Hello. Would you like to answer all that? I don't know what to do. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I work in reflections. I do mental health therapy, and I've done that for many, many years. Okay? And I think the title is kind of interesting because we're such a youth society, aren't we? We believe that, you know, if you're young, God, everything's good. I see a lot of teenagers, and I got to tell you, it's so good, okay? So we really, you know, the idea of youth is really feeling good. Isn't that really what we're talking about? So that's sort of what I'm going to be talking about. How can we feel good whatever age we are, okay? And some of this is health stuff, obviously. Some of this is keeping healthy. Because, you know, we're amazing beings, aren't we? With all of these organs that all are intertwined, and things affect each other, you know? So my big thing is the brain. I just love the brain. I'm very, very happy about it. And I believe that the reason we are so capable, and we are like at the top of the food chain, at least until the aliens come, we are at the top of the food chain, and that's because we've got these big brains. So we're supposed to use these big brains to
Testing.
Practicing in the back. Okay, so anyway, that's the point of this. It's about staying happy in life. Okay? So, let me get this. Okay. How's this? Is this better? Okay, we'll use this. So, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's the first slide. Okay, of course not. I am not a technical person.
Oh no, it won't bog it.
All right, because I've got two.
Oh, it's that way. Oh, well, I'm left-handed. I do everything backwards. Oh, okay. So, people don't grow old when people grow old when they stop growing. And I think that's a really important thing. We get unmotivated. I was going to say lazy, but I don't like that word, okay? Because lazy is like a characteristic. If you're lazy, you're always going to be lazy. But we get unmotivated to change and move as we get older. We get kind of stuck, okay? So the trick is really to stay motivated, okay? And really start, you know, and really live your life. Let me point this a little. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of different things that affect aging, okay? Environmental, okay? Nutrition, housing, safety. And there are genetic things that affect our health, isn't it? I mean, there are things that we can inherit, illnesses that we can inherit, like diabetes, okay? Some cancer, mental illness, depression, alcohol, drug addiction. These are genetic things that we can inherit, right? So those are issues that we have to look at. I think it's important to realize that all of us are kind of scared about getting old. You know, I mean, you know, you just keep thinking, oh my goodness, if I get old, I might get Alzheimer's disease, which is scary, or, you know, I might lose the ability to drive or be able to be crippled up, and this terrifies us, okay? I mean, but there are actually things we can do in our life right now that could change that and make it better and make, you know, and avoid it, okay? So, you know, physical health is important, and all of us have vital organs, and they affect each other. Let me okay, what's good for the heart is good for the brain. That's interesting. But you see, they're all connected, you know? I mean, if our heart is unhealthy and doesn't pump well, it doesn't give enough blood to our brain, and our brain don't work so good, okay? And we talk about the brain being plastic. That's kind of a sickening part. But I mean, that's not what they mean. They don't mean it's made of plastic. What they mean is that our brain can learn and grow all of our lives. We can learn all of our lives. And that's really, really kind of exciting. And the thing is, I mean, we get stuck in our old belief systems and our old ways of doing things. We get into a rut. But, you know, it's important to challenge this big brain we have. Remember I said, you know, we're at the top of the food chain. My belief system is that we're at the top of the food chain because we are amazing problem solvers. I believe that problem solving is our great gift, and that's why we made it this far. And so let's solve some problems. I mean, let's look at solving some problems. How exciting is that? And sometimes it's just like fun things that we can do to learn and to solve problems. It's a really complex organ, but just as your lungs react negatively to smoking, the brain needs a healthy environment to flourish. Okay, so that's it. I don't know the whole big brain thing. By the way, if there's any questions along the line, I will try to answer them. I can't tell you that I'll be able to, but I'll make a great effort to do it. Okay, this next one, unmanaged chronic illness, poorly managed illness such as diabetes, high blood pressure, depression, and alcoholism. These are big risk factors for us to stay happy and healthy during our whole lives. And I mean, blood pressure is a big issue for me because my husband had high blood pressure, and when he was 43 years old, he had heart failure, kidney failure, and 4 small strokes. He did not know he had high blood pressure. Never went to the doctor. So we've been dealing with that ever since. He is now 58 years old, okay? And he just got out of the hospital with a small heart attack. So these are things that, you know, he was a go, go, go guy, okay? He's the kind of person that you work with and think, wow, he never stops. He's wonderful. That's all great, but without knowing that he had the high blood pressure, he ended up hurting himself and damaging his kidneys. And he eventually had to get a kidney while he was on dialysis for a while. And then he had to get a kidney from his sister. And his sister, as soon as she found out that he had high blood pressure, okay, and he had this kidney problem, she said, "You need a kidney? You need a kidney?" And I kept saying, "Do you have one in the refrigerator? What are you talking about? You got a special one stacked away?" And she wanted to give him a kidney. And so she was a librarian. And we finally went through all that stuff so that she could give him a kidney, okay? And she was a children's librarian, so she had a thing, she had a contest with the children saying, "Name the kidney." Okay, so anyway, Lola is the kidney. He has Lola. And we always say whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Because, I mean, we got to take good care of his kidney. So realizing that some of these things, if you might just let go, I mean, you may not go to the doctor, you may not, and if you have diabetes or an illness like that, they might say, "You need to do this and that." You might go, "Well, I do it most of the time. I do it sometimes." And, you know, but then really, what's the long-term thing of this? You see, we've really learned what the long-term thing of this is. Jim and I have, that's my husband. We've learned that, no, you really do have to follow doctor's orders. Because if you don't, problems ensue. So that's sort of what I'm thinking about. In smoking, several studies show that heavy smokers, 20 cigarettes a day, have reduced brain density as they age compared with non-smokers. So, yikes, you know. What we know about the brain is that it does shrink as we get older anyway. It just does, okay? So, what we know is that it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It has all the same cells in it. We've just got to be busy, keeping them busy, keeping them interested. Get something cool to do. Get into it. Okay, obesity. Now, I feel a little guilty standing out there talking about obesity. But body mass, okay, above 30 is a risk factor for various diseases in addition, and one is Alzheimer's. I mean, who knew that, huh? So, you know, and that's, I don't know about you, but my experience is that most people are terrified of Alzheimer's. And I don't know if any of you have a family member that has that. My mother-in-law is suffering with Alzheimer's, and it's a really cruel disease. And so we're all fearful of it. But what this is saying is, you know, we can do something about this. I mean, because before we thought, well, you just get it and you're stuff. No, now we're learning that taking good care of your body might make a difference. And so yeah, I think we're going to try to do that because everybody's pretty fearful of it. Let's look at some of the things you can do. All right, regular exercise. Yeah, I know, everybody tells you this, that you've heard it a billion times, and you say, well, I'm thinking about exercising. Does that count? Yeah. It doesn't apparently, it doesn't actually count. It's important to actually do the exercise. Sleep, this is another thing that I have a big deal about because human beings need a certain amount of sleep. But do we get it? I mean, isn't it this world that we're living in now where we're working extra hours and we've got other responsibilities? We cheat ourselves of sleep. And worry is another issue that can keep you not sleeping, isn't it? Even after the whole day when you've done your job, you've done everything, you've taken care of the kids or grandma or whatever your responsibilities are, you lay down and all you can do is keep going round and around, right? Remembering all the stuff that you've done, and it's difficult to sleep. It's so important to sleep. And one of the ways that helps people sleep is to have a normal, natural routine every day. So we go to bed at the same time, guys, and we get up at the same time. That sounds silly, but our body gets used to that. And you'll find that if you do that all the time, you'll actually wake up at the normal time, on your own, before the clock beeps. So sleep is so important. Eating right, and I noticed you've got your lunches there, and there's an apple in there, and I think that's great. And I mean, let's get all of food groups, huh? Don't tell yourself, oh, nachos. Well, that's one of the food groups. Cheese. Well, isn't that daring? I'll put cheese on my nachos. Yeah. Then I'll have two at once. No. I mean, you can do a little of that. That's the other thing. I'm not telling you don't do any of that, but I mean, make sure that you get good, healthy food every day, fresh food. It's great for you. It's going to make you feel better. You may not think so, but it really, really does. Chronic stress. Oh, but there's nobody in this room that doesn't know what that is. Now, there's something called acute stress, and that's like how I felt right before I came in here. Oh, God, I got to give a speech. Okay? And that particular stress is good because it pumps me up to come up here and talk to y'all. Okay? You can have that stress. Chronic stress is where you're always stressed. You're always worried. You're always upset. This is not good, and I don't think it's the way we're supposed to live. I really don't. So, if there are things, and this is the thing, I think sometimes there are things in our life that stress us, right? And so, okay, and some of these things actually could be fixed, but we just keep putting them off. We don't deal with them. So we just keep going through being unhappy, being worried, and you think, well, but let's use that big brain, that problem-solving brain, and find ways to change it. And some of it's taking care of me. Now, I mean me. You all have to take care of me. No, I'm kidding. I mean, you need to take care of you. And so when you're giving to everybody all the time, take time for you and do things good for you because you keep, you're going to empty the whole well. There's not going to be anything left, okay? So you have to take care of yourself. Getting social, and as we get older, that becomes more difficult. It's kind of interesting. When you're in high school, you see kids every day. You can talk to people. At work, you can talk to people. But what about after work? I mean, do you do things with your friends? Do you have a group that you play cards with? Do you have something you do social? Do you have folks over for a cookout? Or have you decided, oh, I'm too tired. It's the weekend. I just want to lay here and do nothing. Well, we really need that social connection. We are social beings. I like to say human beings are herd animals. I think we're all together. We need to be together. We count on each other. So we need those social connections. And if you're avoiding that or missing that, that's not good. Let's try to really do that. Challenging yourself mentally, and this is something that I feel really, really strong about, okay? Whatever it is that you can do to challenge yourself mentally, I believe that, the bucket list, I think it's an interesting thing. Well, everybody has a bucket list, and everybody says, well, I always wanted to learn Spanish, or I always wanted to learn how to knit. But do you do it? Nah, you put it back there, Start doing some of this fun stuff, because you're going to be able to take it into your old age. And as you're older, the older you get, the more important it is to learn something new. That makes life exciting. That makes life interesting. That helps us feel happy. Okay? So challenge yourself. I mean, I know some people do Sudoku. Did I say that right? Is it Sudoku? I never know. I always think I'm going to mispronounce it. Anyway, if people do that, well, I'm math dyslexic, so that's not for me, because I transpose numbers. That won't work. But I do read, and I'm always interested. Learning makes me happy. And I always say if we could, with the kids in school, if we could just get them to have a joy and a love of learning, okay, they'd be happy. We all need to have a love of learning. What new thing do you want to learn? If you have the money, where do you want to go? What trip do you want to take? Have stuff like that and really work on making that a reality, okay? So, please do this. You see how technical I am. They say that 30 minutes of moderate, intense exercise at least 5 times per week, or 20 minutes of vigorous, intense exercise at least 3 days a week, makes a big difference. Now, 30 minutes. It's only 30 minutes. You can take a walk around your neighborhood for 30 minutes, can't you? And when you're doing that, I don't want you to walk around and worry about your whole day. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want you to do that. I want you to walk and look around and see nature and really use it as a little mini vacation, okay? The 30 minutes is a mini vacation for you. And if you want to pick the 20 minutes of the vigorous exercise, that's terrific. We've got a Y here. There's gyms. There's all kinds of ways where you can do that. You may have a machine in your home. Do you have a machine in your home that's dusty? Other people with dusty machines, because we all buy them. I'm going to do it. Usually in January. We do this in January. That's my thing for the year. That's my decision. And then it just gets dusty. Then we start hanging clothes on it. That's bad, get that stuff off of there and get back on there. Think about this. 20 minutes 3 times a week. 7 days in a week. 20 minutes. You can do this. This is a possibility. And it says you must sustain activity for at least 10 minutes increments. And that's for us people who have the videos and stuff and we're doing it. And, the guy on there is jumping up and down. And this is vigorous now. This is good. But, after about 10 minutes, we go, oh, yeah, I got to stop for a minute. That's okay. After 10 minutes, you don't have to do the whole thing. Give yourself a break, but then back again, 10 more minutes, and you've got your 20 minutes. Even if you sit up some of it, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to do something. And start slow, yeah, and also talk to your doctor. I don't want to tell a group of people, yeah, go there and do that machine in your house. Get on that today. Well, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to say check with your doctor first to make sure that that's what he wants you to do. He thinks it's cool. And then just start slow. I know with these, I used to do Jane Fonda. Does anybody remember that Jane Fonda? Yeah, I used to do it, and first I could only do a little bit. Eventually, man, I was doing all of it, and I was really proud of myself, and I looked terrific. But I clearly don't do it anymore. But, I did it, and at first I could only do a little bit. Now I have to stop. Some people go, oh, I can't do this. Look, I can't do this. It's a good excuse to stop. Do a little bit, get to where you need to be. Adequate sleep, and I've been talking about that. People are not sleeping enough. Do you realize that kids need more sleep than they get? And we get them up real early, go to school, and we wonder why they're so sleepy and cranky all the time. And by the way, crankiness, or snarkiness, as I like to call it, is a sign that you're not getting enough sleep. And feeling after lunch, are you all going to go, ugh. And it may mean that, you didn't sleep enough last night, We need that sleep. It really makes a difference. It makes you feel better. It makes life better, okay? So please, get enough sleep. As I say, once again, get on a schedule. I know that when I was a kid, I lived my mother was very, very strict. And so after I got out, I thought, oh, now I run my own life. I was married. But now I get to run my own life. So I slept, go to bed at 3, get up at 2 or whatever in the afternoon, and pulled all that kind of stuff. And eventually, And I wondered why. My best story about that is that I had to literally ask my mom to the day I got married if I could go in the refrigerator and get food. So as soon as I had my own refrigerator, I got a great big jar of olives. I love olives. And I ate the whole thing. And I thought, nobody's going to stop me. Nobody's going to tell me these are my olives. I'm eating them. Yeah, God's kind of sick from that. But I learned something. I learned that, you can't, some of these rules are in place for a reason. And the cool thing is, as adults, we can internalize these rules. Nobody, maybe you feel like your insurance company's telling you to do this. Maybe no. You can internalize this and say, I'm doing this for me. This is my choice. And when you look at it that way, it makes your life much easier. It makes you willing to do these things for me. When I told you got to do something for you, this is one of the things you can do for you. You can say, sorry, I'm going to bed now. This is my bedtime, and I'm going to stick with my bedtime. So this is something you can do for yourself. 7 to 9 hours a night. Who gets 7 to 9 hours a night? Raise your hand. Oh, looky, we got some folks. God love you. But you're in the minority. So you're smart. You're real smart. But, the rest of us aren't doing that, huh? We gotta do this. And maybe it's like this for me sometimes. I'm a second shift gal, okay? I work from 11 to 7. And I see clients from 11 to 7 because it's better for them, because then they can come after work. And I love it. And I don't have any small children at home. I can do this. And some of the other gals that I work with, they got the little ones. They got to get home, right? Not me. So I work the 11 to 7 shift. And sometimes I come home and, I watch a little TV. And I love to read. I have a Kindle. Ooh, it's a bad thing. Evil Kindle, because it calls to me. It says, and I'll say, oh, well, maybe just for a few minutes before I fall asleep. And generally, I do get sleepy and go to sleep. If I get a real good book and something romantic, I'll be reading. Oh, God, this is so good, I can't stop. And I'll look up, it's 2 in the morning. And I think, Patty. And I think we all do this. I've talked to a lot of folks that they do the gaming, the Xbox. And they get on the Xbox. If they really relax with you, I believe you. But in 2 in the morning, and you got to get up too far to go to work. Yeah, gotta find another way to do Xbox. Maybe the weekend. I don't know. I understand you love it, but if you keep doing it and keep yourself awake, yeah, you're gonna be snarky. You're gonna be snarky in the morning. You're gonna snap at people. You're gonna not be very kind. I got a lady, she's younger, just talking about sleep is big hurts. Yeah, I get it, because you talk about something we all need love and don't get enough of, you go, oh yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe I'll go to sleep right now. Go ahead. If you're that tired, that's fine with me. I want you to get your rest. Okay? So, see? 6, bedtime and an awake time. Geez, I know this so well. I'm saying it without putting these things up there. And I really know this matters because I have a lot of clients that worry at night and are anxious at night and don't sleep, and then they find and over a period of time, the loss of sleep has an enormous effect on you. One of the things it affects is your ability to be reasonable and think well, okay? Have you found someday you stayed up late, you went to work the next day, and you just couldn't focus? You just couldn't, you're looking at stuff that you looked at before and and you can't focus. That's because you didn't get enough sleep. The brain needs to rest. The brain is an amazing thing. It's a big computer in your head. And when you're sleeping, you're dreaming. It's actually sorting things, sorting your thoughts out, okay? So that's important. And when you have one of those real horrible nightmares, it probably says, gee, you're stressed. So know that. Realize that that's really what that's about. Okay? See what else it is. Avoid long naps during the day. Yeah, especially like on the weekend, sometimes we think, oh, look at the couch. Oh, I'm going to sit on the couch. I'm going to lay on the and you're gone. And you may be gone for 3 or 4 hours. Okay? And then you wake up and you say, well, on to the rest of the day, whatever. I guess it's kind of late. And you're doing all this, and then you try to go to sleep at night, and you can't. Because you've gotten some of that rest during the day. So really, instead of, oh, hello, couch, God, I love you. You're my favorite little thing. Remember that exercise routine over there that had, get the clothes off there? You know, instead of laying down, I think I'm going to do my 20 minutes, you know. And what you'll find out is that when you do that, you'll be energized. All the blood's going to go through your body, your brain's going to wake up, and you're going to say, you know, now, maybe I will wash up the floor. I have been looking at the floor and saying, geez, this is a mess. Who's going to come in and do that? Because I don't know, you know, and I feel. And so maybe once you do a little exercise, you know, I think I'm just going to, why did I make such a big deal of this? It's just the floor, right? I can sweep that floor and wash it up in no time. And then I'll be happy. I don't know about you, but when I get my kitchen floor, that makes me happy. It only lasts for a little while, of course. I have a dog and 2 cats and a messy husband. So it only lasts for a few minutes, but when I see that all clean, I think, boy, I've accomplished something, you know? And I dust all the furniture. Well, there you go. You know, get the laundry. Oh, look at me. I'm really doing something. It cheers me up. I mean, I think instead of sitting around thinking, oh, my God, I need to do the laundry. I don't want to. Oh, God, I'm going to have to separate it first. Oh, my God, that's such a big thing. You know, and when I get doing it, it's done, you know, and then I'm all happy. So that's what I mean. You know, if you keep yourself healthy and you exercise, you're going to have more energy to do these things, and they're going to go quicker, and you're going to have more time for what I think is the most important thing in the world, fun. I want you to have more time to have some fun. And I want you to give yourself permission to have fun. Because I don't know, it seems like a lot of people, they don't think they deserve it. What do you do? You know, isn't it supposed to be fun? I think life's supposed to be fun. I'm all about it. And I look for it everywhere. So do that and see if you can't have some fun and kind of schedule it in. Avoid caffeine 4 to 6 hours before bedtime. How many of us do that? How many of us in here have a cup of coffee at 5 o'clock in the evening? Yeah, some people do. Some people drink coffee, or, well, you know what my sin is. Yeah, it's the regular, guys. It's the high test. And that's my sin. Now, I mean, and I have to remind myself, if I want to have a good sleep tonight, I got to cut myself off, right? I would cut myself off, much as I love it. My children say, if you cut me close, we'll roll out of my veins. Because I mean, my son wrote a poem saying, Mom, with a Coke in her hand. And so that's how he pictures me. So yeah, let's not drink anything like that late at night. Alcohol. Avoid alcohol 4 to 6 hours before bedtime. Well, now you might say, well, that's odd, because it's supposed to be a depressant. And so I'm just depressing myself into sleep. No, that's passing out, okay? Yeah, you're not actually depressing. And really, for a lot of people, drinking alcohol quite often kind of buzzes them out, and then they can't sleep, okay? So, you know, yeah, okay, have that cocktail with dinner, but don't be drinking all night. And anyway, if you're drinking all night every night, I mean, you probably need to come and see me. I mean, because it might be a problem, okay? What we say is, if you think it's a problem, it probably is. Okay, here's a great one. Avoid heavy foods, spicy, sugary foods 4 to 6 hours before sleep. As we age, our stomach just doesn't put up with all that hot food. And maybe you just love it, and you go to Chipotle, and you say, no, put some more of that hot stuff. No, more peppers. I like them. And then if you're not going to do that, what you probably end up with is an upset stomach, don't you? And there's nothing that keeps you from sleeping more than laying there and going, oh, yeah, that is a stomach ache. Oh, I'm going to have, and the reflux, where the burning stuff comes up your throat. Does anybody know that? Does anybody have that? Okay. And that can keep you awake all night. So, you know, let's avoid eating that kind of stuff, or a lot of sugary stuff, because sugar kind of, it really revs us up. So let's avoid doing that too late at night so that we can really sleep well. Okay. Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2011 give scientific basis advice on food and physical activity choices for health. Emphasizes whole grains. Yay! Fruits, vegetables, and healthy sources of fat and oil. Let's eat that olive oil instead of the lard, you know. It includes lean meats, poultry, fish, beans, eggs, nuts, and unless you're allergic, you guys. I mean, I'm saying nuts, but if you can't eat them, oh God, don't do that. fat-free or low-free milk and milk products. Now, you know all this. You know, I feel stupid standing up here telling you this. You've heard this everywhere. But, you know, what about, I mean, what I did was, I never really ate a lot of grain or nuts. And so I kind of added them to my diet. They're tasty. You know, you can actually eat things that are very tasty. I actually finally went to the whole grain bread. And believe me, I'm a white bread girl. It was hard to give it up. But I did, because I realized that that's better for me. And you know what? It tastes pretty good. I always thought, I looked at it and go, ew, it's brown, I don't want it. But no, it's actually pretty good. It actually has more flavor than white bread. So these are the kind of little changes you can make, okay, to make your life better. Volunteer. This is reducing chronic stress. Volunteer. How does volunteering help you reduce stress? Well, guess what? When you get out of your own problems and help somebody else, that helps you reduce stress. When you start doing something for somebody else, you feel good about yourself, you help somebody else, and you're not sitting around thinking about your own problems and going round and round. My theory about that is, worry is this. We get this idea in our head of worry that goes round and round. Anybody ever had it? Round and round. And what you got to do, open your mouth and spit it out, for God's sake. Don't keep worrying about it. And I have a theory about worry as far as what it exactly is. Remember I told you we have big brains and we're problem solvers, right? So that's why we worry. And with anything that comes up, we want to solve that problem. We want to solve it right away, right? So it's like a puzzle, and we have the puzzle. And if we have all the pieces, we can solve the problem and move on, right? But if we don't have all the pieces, which is really mostly what problems are, or there's somebody else that has to do something and you can't make, this is that worry thing, okay? So don't do it, okay? When you see that you don't have all the pieces, tell yourself, okay, I'm trying to solve a puzzle that doesn't have all the pieces. And tell yourself to stop. I can't fix this right now. I'm going to move on. I'm going to think about something else because I don't have all the puzzle pieces. All right, organize your life. Yeah, that's a good idea. I really think so. And I think organizing is really one of those things where, you know, we all have sort of little rituals we do to get through the day. You get up in the morning and you brush your teeth. You know, you use the potty, then you brush your teeth, right? And hopefully you wash your hands first. But anyway, I mean, so you brush your teeth, then you take a shower. You have a way of doing that. That's all organization. Why do we do it that way? So we don't have to think about it so much. If we just got up every morning and thought, what do I do first? What do I need to do? Yeah, that would make our life harder. When you take that concept that we're all capable of doing that kind of organization, you can do that in your own life in other ways. You can make little patterns that you do. I mean, bills, I don't know, I'm really old-fashioned. I actually pay my bills through the mail. I know I'm supposed to do it online, but I like to write them out. I like to write that check. That makes me feel better. But I don't like to do it. I mean, I like to write it, but I don't like to get those bills out and do it. So I have to set a time. This is this time. I'm going to do the bills right now. If I didn't do it, I would put it off forever, which is a bad thing because it gets so, they don't want to give you electricity if you don't pay for it. I don't know why. I mean, it comes to the heirs, and I don't know why they don't just give it to me, but they don't. They want their money. So that's that. If you think you have anxiety or depression, go ask for some help. You're allowed to. I mean, counseling is one of those places where you can get right through your work. Think about this. So many sessions. You don't have to pay for it. So, you can't use that as an excuse anymore, okay? You can't say, well, it costs too much. No. I mean, and, hopefully by meeting me, you can see that, mental health therapists are not as scary as you thought they were going to be, okay? And I often say when I finish a session with people, was this as scary as you thought it was going to be? Oh, they go, man, are you? So if you think that you have something you need to talk about, come on in and talk about it. It's a good idea. You'll feel better. We can maybe give you some tools to make your life work easier. That's what we do. So if that's a problem, please let somebody know. stay connected to family. I don't know. I get some people that are very, very connected. They go, oh, that's family, you know. Sometimes that causes them stress. But I mean, there are also people that I should call my sister, you know, but I'm tired now. I don't think I will. Give her a call. Call this family member you haven't talked to in a while. You know, none of us have forever. Call somebody. Talk to them. Reminisce. It's good for you. Remember that time you were at the lake and you fell in? You know, this is the kind of stuff that it's uplifting, okay? So talk to them. I'm going to take a drink because I'm losing this. Coke. It's bad for you. Join clubs. Now some of us go, well, I've never been much of a joiner. Nah, I don't like to join things. I don't like to do things with other people. But you know, in reality, you meet new people, you get new perspectives. Even if you don't like somebody, you can learn something from them. We learn more from the people that we don't like than we learn from the people we do. You realize that? The people that are in our lives that are annoying, you can learn something from those people. Maybe just, I don't want to be that person, but you can learn something, okay? So think about that. Spend time with your children. I think this is really important, and I know some of you probably have children out of state, and that's really, really hard. But now there's Skype. You can literally see their little faces. How cool. I have 5 grandchildren. I adore them. And they live in Milwaukee. 3 of them live in Marysville, and 2 of them are up here because my daughter teaches at Bunzel. So that's why I want to work up here. I live in Westerville, by the way. I drive 30 miles either way. But I love Marysville because it's my second home, okay? And it's mostly because my family's here. And you know, I don't always get to see them. Just knowing they're there, it makes me feel so good. And then if I get a break, I can run over and see. So stay connected to your family. Stay connected to your siblings or whoever it is that you've always kind of loved. But you didn't call them much, huh? Give them a call. It's good for you, okay? Take up ballroom dancing, okay? I often think that. I like the music for ballroom dancing, and I've told my daughter, my funeral's all planned by the way, and I've told my daughter, when I die, I want her to play Strauss waltzes, okay? And that's because they're elegant, but they're kind of superficial, just like me. So I want that kind of music playing. These are things like the games and puzzles, you know. I got what do you call it, one of those tablets. So I got it for work. I got it so I could use the little squares so people could, that's really why I got it, I'm not kidding you. And there are games in there. And apparently it does a whole bunch of stuff, okay? I mean, it's an amazing tool, okay? And my son helped me set it up. He said, Mom, what have you been doing on that tablet you got? And I said, I'm playing games. I'm sure it does a lot of other cool things, but it's something I can do that kind of de-stresses me, and I enjoy it. So, learning new language. I mean, I swear, I keep saying this, I'm as bad as you are. I want to learn Spanish, because Spanish is going to be a big language here. And so I want to learn it. When I was in high school, I first took French. And, you know, I wasn't very good at it. But I passed with a D, I think. So I went to college, and they put me in the advanced French class. Oh my God, I was totally lost. They were speaking French. I thought, oh my God, I can't do this. So I went down to the person that can change your classes, and I went into Spanish, and Spanish 1, okay? And I was trying to speak Spanish, and what the teacher said is, you're the only person in class that speaks Spanish with a French accent. So, I mean, new sports. I mean, whether it's watching them or playing them, I mean, or going out to see them. Let's do that. That's fun. It gets your mind off things. Hobbies, like I said, knitting, anything like that. Especially if, you know, if you learn to do it and you start doing it with other people. That is so fun, you know, and then you can share ideas, and it really is relaxing and it's fun, and we need this in our lives. Remember, we're herd animals. We need to be around other animals. We need to be other humans. We need it. Okay? Travel. Yeah, if you can afford it, guys, go. There's so many beautiful places in the United States and Europe that you can see. I mean, and I don't know about you, but if I have a trip planned, I look forward to it. I look forward to it. I read about it, and I plan it for months. So So that really is a good thing. You know, you can enjoy it all the way up to, you can enjoy the trip, and then you can enjoy the memories. There's no bad things. And if bad things happen and it doesn't go well, they make great stories. And then you tell people, oh my God, and they lost my luggage, and oh my God. These are great stories to tell, okay? Drama, acting, well, not everybody's into that, but clearly I am. You know, so, I mean, really, whether you want to watch a drama, if you want to be in the back doing it, it's cool, okay? And writing, now I'm going to say a little bit about writing because I feel pretty strongly about it. Do you know that our brain's separated into two pieces? Maybe you've seen that. There's a little bridge in the middle. Anyway, part of our brain is the emotional brain, okay? And the thing about this emotional brain is it believes whatever you tell it. So if you say, this is horrible, this is awful, I can't stand it, the emotional brain goes, yeah, you're right, it's horrible, it's awful, oh my God. You know, when we get into those kind of stressful situations, we need to use the rational brain to calm down crazy emotional brain, okay? So what I know is that if you take a pen, a pencil, and put it to paper and just write it, that actually helps you. It moves this emotional stuff into the rational. So write, you know, write stuff. If you're a grandparent, write something for your kid, your grandkids. Write little stories. It's fun. And it, you know, and it keeps you busy and occupied and away from worry. And that's really what I'm all about, is away from worry. Here's where to seek additional. It's www.guidanceresources.com. It's on your paperwork. So that's really where you need to go. And I think that's probably the insurance company, is that right? I mean, so talk to them. And I mean, and with the ComPsych part, as I say, you could let your, I guess, human resources person know. They can hook you up. And is that right? I mean,
there's an 800 number that has an information.
Yeah, and that's great, you know. I mean, and don't be embarrassed, you know. I think that one of the things I really talk a lot in my practice about is that people go, well, I'll say, well, you know, you're kind of depressed. In fact, you're really depressed. And maybe you should go see your doctor and talk about some medication. Oh, no, I don't want to take that medication. Oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I said, I know you're not crazy. I'm not saying you're crazy. What you are is depressed. And what happens when you're depressed is certain chemicals in your brain that are supposed to keep you cool have gone down. And sometimes they go down for so long, they don't want to come back up. Let me put this down a minute and I'll show you. Yeah, I have to do it. See, this is your brain. It's a sympathy. And sometimes you go down and there should be a little button that brings you back up. Some people have a problem going way up. Should be a button. That's mania, okay? So when you look at this, sometimes we go down and the button's not working. The button's broken. And we have to take some medication to just bring us even. I'm not talking about being high. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about feeling better, and sometimes you need to take that for a little while to get over the hump. Some people take it forever because the button's really, really broken. And, you know, if I told you that you had diabetes and that you had to take a shot, okay, of insulin, would you be ashamed of that? Anybody feel like that's a shameful thing? All right, you have some other disorder in another organ, and you need to take medicine for it, okay? Maybe you've got clogged arteries, apparently I do, and, you know, and you have to take a pill for that. Do you feel shameful about that? No. It's just that, you know, my body's acting up, it's up to I'm not supposed to, and I'll take a pill and feel better. But for so many people, if they have an emotional problem and they need to take medication for it, they can't because they're ashamed. Oh, you know, mental illness, you know, that's a big bad thing. No, it's just another organ not doing what it's supposed to, okay? And the more you can see it that way, if you do need this medication, the better off you're going to be. It's just another pill to keep your, you know, keep your brain working right. So I feel really, really strongly about this because I get resistance from folks all the time. And really, that's about therapy too. Oh, I can't go see somebody. No, that doesn't mean I was crazy. I'm not crazy. No, you're not crazy. The world is crazy. Have you realized how crazy our world is? And here we are, these human beings, just trying to get through, just trying to do our job, just trying to go, right? And all this stuff keeps piling on us. You know, the 24-hour news. Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's just what I need to do is to watch the 24-hour news and see how happy I'll be. Oh, that really cheers me up. Oh, Ebola. Oh, that's not good. You know, you don't need to know that. You don't need to think about that. Yeah, it's okay if you know it. I just don't want you to start watching it kind of obsessively, which I have people do. And then say, well, there's a war over, oh, my Lord. And they're gonna bomb it. No, and maybe they will. I don't know. But does it help for you to worry about it? Does it make a difference that you are worrying about it? There's some things you can't do. You can vote, right? You can vote and have some say about who's going to run, okay? But really, there's a lot that you can't do anything about, right? So when you see that, okay, I want you to turn off that damn news. Turn it off. You know, I don't care what you watch, a quiz program, a drama. I mean, I'm all about drama. My husband, he's all about science, and we watch a lot of science shows. We watch 2 shows. I enjoy those, but sometimes I tell him, I need a story. I need a story, because that's what, I need to go into that story. And he goes, oh, you need one of your stories. Yeah, I do. And I turn on one of them stories, and it makes me happy, and it reminds me of my grandmother, who when I was very little, we didn't have TV at this point, but she put us down for a nap, and she said, gonna go listen to my story. And I could hear in the background the radio, you know, as the world turns, you know. And I mean, so that was her relaxation, you know. And whatever it is that makes you feel relaxed, keep it in your life. Put it in your life. Don't make it last, you know. Put it in there, man. You need it. You got to fill up that well if you're going to be giving it out. You can't go around empty. You know, you're going to feel like crap if you go around empty. So don't do that, okay? Fill up that well. Take care of yourselves. And if you need help, get it. I mean, I'm telling you, it's not as scary as you think it is. Really, it's not. So really, that's sort of my whole deal. I got 12:48 here. Do you think that's good enough? Or do you want me to go on? Do they need it out?
I think if anybody has any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? That guy put his arm up, scared the hell out of me. I thought he was going to ask me a question. Don't ask me. But you know, I got to tell you, if he did, I'd just kind of make it up. Because, you know, I'm Irish. You know, I just make stuff up. And, you know, most of it's true, or I think it is, but if I'm wrong, I always say, you know, check with somebody else before you actually do it. I think that's the best thing to do. Okay, so well, if nobody has any questions, I want to do one more thing. And first of all, I want to tell you that I am 67 years old. And I want to show you what I can, oh, yoga, they were talking about yoga. Do yoga, it's great. So I'm going to show you something. I can still put my hands on because I'm damn proud of it, okay? I'm still pretty flexible. And yeah, I'm 67. And many people say, really? I say, yeah, you know, I think it's not my looks that makes them think I'm not 67. It's my attitude. Guys, you've got to have a happy attitude. Bad stuff's going to happen to you. As I said, my husband just got out of the hospital. Last week he had a heart attack and he was in the hospital all week. And so anyway, it kept him. I mean, they got him all sort of straightened out, but he couldn't leave, okay, because they had to get this Coumadin, this is called, and they had to get his blood thin enough, apparently, okay. So he couldn't leave, and he was really going crazy. He was at Ross, and so there's you go all the way around the thing. It's a 1/13 of a mile all the way around, okay. He did 2 miles a day. But of course he had to have his IV pulled, right? And so he said, I've named him. And I said, what's your name? He said, I named him Rod. So, and that's really kind of how we look at life. A couple of years ago he lost his eye, okay? People go, oh yeah, that was awful. And when he first told me, he said, I think he had glaucoma, and it was too painful. And he said, I think it's time to get rid of my eye. And I said, okay. And he said, I thought you really freaked out. I said, I'm freaking out inside. But anyway, he did. And the deal is, sometimes it pops out, you guys. Sometimes it pops out, okay? And then you might think, but he works at Speedway, okay? And one day he was there and he's like doing the numbers thing, and his eye popped out and fell on the ground. So he reaches down and his first thought is, oh, put it back in. And he said, well, God, no, that's true. So he goes to the bathroom, he rinses off, not good enough. But he did it anyway. And then he goes to try to put it back, he can't get it back in. Now, the thing about him is that because he's had so many physical problems, he's kind of swollen. So when his eye, most people, when their prosthetic eye comes out, their lid just goes, completely flat, okay, and it's cool. Yeah, his doesn't. And what's behind there is white, okay? And so I've often said, you know what he's doing? Don't go around like that, dude. That doesn't look so good. So he goes back out because he's got an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old working at Safeway. He says, how does this look? Do you think I can keep working this? Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. Okay. So then, nobody, it's like the emperor with no clothes, right? And so little boy comes up. Little boy comes up and he says, what happened to your eye? And Jim said, well, I had to have it removed, and now I have a prosthetic eye. And the little boy said, can I see? And he said, okay. And he takes it out, unwraps the toilet paper, and shows it to him. And the little boy goes, ooh. But the thing is, every time that kid comes into the Safeway, he goes, you're the guy with the eye, aren't you? And I said, you're giving him up. And we think this is hysterical. We laugh about it all the time. When his eye would come out and we couldn't get back in, had to go to the doctor, I'd say, don't forget your eye. So, we think this is hysterical. It's okay with us. And we make jokes about a lot of things, and people think, what the heck's the matter with you? Guess what? It's getting us through. So I'll kind of leave you with the eye story. It's one of the best. He says I get more knowledge out of his stories than I do. And he goes, but I don't care, okay? All right, so I'll leave you with that. There is a quiz or something, an evaluation quiz. An evaluation, not a quiz. On the back, if you would please fill it out. It would be really helpful to me. And I thank you all for coming and listening, and I've enjoyed being here.